Alright, I'm Jake from TradeLab.ai and welcome to the weekly updates for October 2022. And we have a good list here of things. I'll try to go through it quick, and then you guys can ask any questions as to like what you want to see more in depth. Okay? So a couple of announcements. The first thing is the affiliate system. So we do have an affiliate system, a monetary affiliate system. Gives 10% kickback on every purchase. You can come into the settings screen and become an affiliate. I still recommend that if you're referring a few friends, that you use the referral system. So we have two systems, the referral system and the affiliates. The affiliate system does a kickback, but it's mainly used for people who are going to have quite a few doing that. Whereas the referral system, you can invite a couple friends and you get credits every time that they pay, and then your stuff is free, right? Your subscription is free. Now, there's no monetary kickback if you invite. Those credits just sort of stack up. They don't go to waste, and you can use them on a rainy day. That's how that works. So if you did want, if you have too many people and you wanted a monetary kickback, that's where the affiliate system comes in. Okay, and so you click on this, it takes you to Refusion, I think that's how you say it. And at this point, you sign up for an application, get approved, and like I said, it's a 10% kickback, and it's all paid out through this company, right? So it's standard. You just sign up through them. You can also do other, they got like a marketplace where you can find other affiliate if you're in place, and we're just going through them. Let's talk about the groups and organizations. So this is something we've been working on in the back. This is still invite, but basically I'm looking for creators who who create their own strategies and would like to facilitate those strategies to a community and manage that all in one. We're working on copy just this. We just sharing alerts. Actually, it's already been out there, sort of connected it to the private system and made sure that everything's good there. So the sharing of alerts is ready. We'll talk about that later in the list. But basically, this is the organization page, and you can set up your own plans. You can all of the different info. We also include a white label system. So I do 2 or 3 people who are already starting to set up white labels. We have one up and running right now. I don't know if I can shout. I don't know if they're actually, but what we do is we connect domains and everything. So you go to their website and go, to their app, and it ends up being TradeLab, but it doesn't say TradeLab anymore. It has different logos. It doesn't say Trade. When you set up your webhooks, it'll say your own domain. When you look at the browser bar up here, it'll say your own domain. This is an extra. We're still working out exact pricing, and we're making deals with people. This is something, like I said, that is in testing and invite only. So if you have a need for it, you sort of contact me and we work out an earlier sort of deal, which is beneficial to both parties, right? And you guys get that deal, and then as we go forward, we should just all expect that, new groups that are coming in, we are, sort of working out and raising prices to make things sustainable, right? You got to also recognize that we have things on the roadmap like TradeLab and stuff coming just next month. I'm going to start on it, and that requires more servers than we're running now and stuff like that. And so the pricing was always so that we can grow and do all of the great things that we want to do. And then, eventually as we get larger and we have more volume as well, we'll get more kickbacks for fees and stuff like that, and then we can look at facilitating the pricing to a larger audience, right? But we are sort of in the model where we're looking out for ourselves and trying to facilitate the growth of what everybody wants, but we got to get there, right? And I should say, in the background, we are working on funding and stuff like that. So if that hits, we have a whole lot sort of more, stuff to deal with, resources and be able to do those sort of things. But we just got to take it as it comes, right? So these are the decisions that we're making today to make sure that we have a good tomorrow, right? So we also have groups. Real quick, we'll just look at groups. This is how you share strategy. So if you say you have an organization and you want to create different groups, you can actually assign them to different plans, and you can put different strategies in different groups and have people have different plans and all of that for that. We also do allow people to create their own groups if they don't have an organization. Again, this is all invite only, so you don't have access to it now, but if you're interested in it, let me know. The organization is really about creating your own plans so that you define your own price. We give you a low wholesale price, if you will, or like a group plan price. And then you sort of add whatever you want on top of that. So the organization and the creator plans are for those people who want to monetize. If you just want to have a private group and monetize yourself or do whatever it is that you want yourself, you can just have a group and don't necessarily need an organization or do the plans or anything like that. And it can be a private group and people can apply and you can approve them as they apply over here in this list. So there's that. I just wanted to cover that. I've spoken about it a couple times as I've been making it, but it's just about ready. And so I wanted to get some more people to really reach out. If you do want this, let me know, and we can just get a few more testers on it, and then we can start sort of defining how we're going to do the application process. This isn't something that I'm going to allow people to necessarily just click a button and have what they want. I think it's a good process, at least in the beginning, for us to be looking at, okay, who's applying and what strategies do they have, right? And what is their P&L? What have they been doing? What is it that they're trying to put out there and monetize and that sort of stuff. So that's the approach that we're taking right now. We do have other markets on the way. TD Ameritrade, I want to do Forex and stuff like that. I have TD Ameritrade here. If anybody has any contact with TD Ameritrade or has some idea of how to set things up as sort of like a broker or a tech partner, if you want to reach out to me, please do. I think we've been trying to start this process and it's been a little bit lengthy. Not so much that I realized it was going to be. I guess I should have known, because this is all, regulated, and all of that sort of stuff. And so it's been a bit different. And unfortunately, at least with TD Ameritrade, it has, I haven't gotten as far as I wanted to. Now, what I am doing is I'm pivoting over to Alpaca. Alpaca is actually set up for API developers and stuff more so, and I feel like it's a little bit different, but we're basically going to be providing stock trading as TradeLab. You can KYC through us. The KYC will just go through Alpaca, and we'll be sending them through Alpaca. We'll have the Alpaca name on it and everything, but you'll actually sign up for an account just in TradeLab, right? And we'll just be, sort of the broker. We're going to do that first, I think, and we're going to figure out this TD Ameritrade thing, because it seems... I've been trying to get help with it, and I just haven't gotten the help that I need as I'm trying to do everything else, and it just seems like it's an uphill battle. So I think I'm going to go in that direction. That will get us, stocks, hopefully before the end of the year, I think. I'm on a track. What's that?
So we won't technically need a TD Ameritrade account. We'll go through you.
Yes.
So you'll have the account.
Yes. And I am still looking. I want to see, I'm going to do that first, and I want to see how people react to that. Because we're coming from the bring your own exchange thing and everything else, I kind of figured that people were like, well, I already have a TD Ameritrade account, and I don't want to come to you to do this. And so I figured it would be good for us to link to that, and so I do still plan to do that, but it's going to come a little bit later, it sounds like. So, but yeah, what you just said is correct. Is you would come to us, you would just make an account with us and trade stocks with us, and we would be going through Alpaca. If you want to look them up, see who they are, all of that sort of stuff. They're called Alpaca. Okay. They provide APIs to many bots, to so many places that you trade stocks that you think that you're going through them. You're going through Alpaca. That's what Alpaca does. Not many people actually go to Alpaca and trade. I'm not even sure if they have an exchange necessarily. They're an API provider. So
They're essentially like that crypto API place that you go to that connects to all those other exchanges. Similar.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, you could say that in that way. The thing is that we're not talking about connecting to many different exchanges. The exchanges that we're talking about is like NYC. NYSE, the Dow and the Nasdaq and those sorts of things, those markets, and as you connect to those, they're doing their own I don't know how they do it. It's a whole lot more complicated, right? But there's TD Ameritrade and many other brokers who are sending those to there, and it's not just always necessarily as straightforward as crypto where you send an order and it places on the exchange. Sometimes they're doing fronting and then they're sending big batch orders to the exchange and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, and so that's why I also say look up Alpaca, look up TD Ameritrade, see exactly what they do and how they compare, right? And if we hear back from everybody that, hey, we're just not interested in Alpaca, that's okay. And I'll take that into consideration, right? So we'll figure that out. But I wanted everybody to be. So I'm going to put this on the screen here. It's Alpaca, and I can even look up their website here. Alpaca Markets, Alpaca.markets, and it's an API for crypto and stock trading, and they have a Discord, and yeah, I mean, like I said, they don't necessarily even have, like, they have spot trading here, and then they have, yeah, so they don't even have, like, a portal where you can go trade yourself, right? I don't think. I think it's, well, maybe they do. Hold on. Is this it? No, this is just API again. Yeah. So they don't necessarily have like a place that you can trade yourself. They're just taking stuff in and that's how they do that. So so yeah, I mean, like I said, you can look these guys up. I'm pretty sure they have like story, newsletter, blog, contact. Don't they have like an FA? Well, they have a forum and support. I'm sure that they got questions in here, yeah, and different topics.
Well, I'd be more than happy to. I mean, when you make the connections and stuff like that, I'd be more than happy to test.
Okay, yeah, and get some feedback. Yep. Yeah, so I'm gonna start working on this and see how far we can get. It does look fairly simple, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna now say that I want to have stock trading in here by the end of the year. That's my goal. I do think it might happen sooner than that in certain contexts, right? Getting people to test and everything. I'd like to be able to say, hey, everybody come stock trade, by the end of the year, hopefully. So that's my current goal. I'll update everybody in these AMAs as we get closer, if we're on track for that. Okay.
Saying right behind your screen there on Alpaca that they do allow you to short U.S. stocks.
Yeah. Where's that? Right
there. Buy, sell, and short U.S.
Oh, yeah.
stocks.
Yeah, you can short and all U.S. stocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
sometimes they require that you are, institutional investor,
correct,
or, accredited investor worth $10 million or something like that. So that helps. That's good.
Right. Well, and this may be for everybody. It may be for certain KYC levels. I don't know, and we will find out. And as we find out, we'll publish that more. I'm pretty sure if we look in the FAQ, we can find some information. But I do know that as you go through here, there's a whole API, a whole thing that I have to do to set up KYC, where you go through and do KYC with us. We send it all to them, and they they process it, right? And that KYC, I would assume, as other people have, is sort of different levels, right? And so the more that you can KYC, the more you get access to. I do know that it is very typical to have to open up an E-Trade account or a TD Ameritrade account and have access to stocks, but not have access to options unless you do additional KYC and tell them more about yourself. Right.
Yeah, so that'll basically be done probably on an individualized basis rather than how, we go to one account through TradeLab, like you were talking about with TD Ameritrade, and all of a sudden you're one big buyer, but we can't all necessarily leverage that. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, and that's not what we were planning to do with TD Ameritrade either, I don't think. But see, this is all that, I don't know, honestly, and this is what I've been trying to figure out. That's not necessarily what we were planning to do, is collect all the money and do one big buyer. I mean, that's a broker thing, and I'm not even, that's a thing that I'm not sure, I gotta think about if I want to even be in that business, but as far as being a tool and trading individually, that was the plan, so... we can talk about that though, and perhaps somebody around here is interested in that and wants to set that up, and then we connect to them with the TD Ameritrade, and then we can say, hey, we can go through partner broker X, and we can do that, right? So, yeah, so we'll talk about it, but okay. So let's get back to the list real quick. We got a whole bunch of stuff to run down. I'll try to go quick. So the general front end, we have a better mobile interface, so you guys can check that out. It hasn't changed. I'm not saying I did a new app or redone anything, but I did mess things up with the new UI, and I've improved it. Okay, so go check that out. I'm sure there's things that aren't perfect still. Let me know. I do have a mobile app planned early next year. Okay. I've already started on it, but we got stuff in front of it. So, notifications. Notifications are now clickable. This has been one of the biggest requested things. Why can't I click on my notifications and go somewhere? New notifications are now clickable. So this one I think might be too old, but I'm hoping if we create a new notification somehow, that it will let us click on it and it'll take us somewhere. So if we have a trade ID and we are able to take you to the trade, it'll take you to the trade. If it's something that failed, but we have an alert ID, it'll take you to the alert history. And if we don't have either of those, it'll take you to the strategy builder. Okay, but you can click on notifications now. These will only be new notifications. So as they come in, you can click on them. Okay, strategy list, we have a new filter option for active. So if you click on this, you can hide all of the inactive and show the inactive. So right here, if I click on this, these should go away. And let me see here. Is this acting slow or? Oh, okay. There we go. Did it not work in here? Okay. No, it did. Okay. I think my computer's just being slow.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah. So you have the ability to show and hide inactive. And if there is some issues with that, I'll take a look at that and fix it. But from what I tested earlier, it was working fine. I think I'm streaming in 2 different places here and also running stuff, so I think my computer's freaking out a little. But okay, so we have global variables. We have a JP. Merry Christmas. We have the search bar now. So it only took me long enough, but there you go. So there's that. We also have the same thing added to community browser. It wasn't there in the beginning. Sorry about that. But it is there now. So even if you go to the main page, you can search up here. So there's that. Okay, let's go trade history, fixes for P&L and original investment. So the P&L stuff is, you know, still ongoing, but it's a lot better in many senses. If you guys do see an issue with P&L, please let me know. We'll take a look at it case by case. I wanted to show off some things that I've been working on. So I worked on sort of these, all of these tables have smaller text in them now. So I hope that doesn't bother anybody, and if it does, let me know and I can try to make it bigger. But I'm doing that for smaller screens, so it fits better on some smaller screens. And I'm also doing that just because I feel like there's smaller text on these exchange websites, and it's okay. And I just want to get more on the screen for us. Okay, so now we can see more. If we click on the trade, of course it's going to load up, and we can scroll down. Yeah, my computer's really slow. We can scroll down and hit this button, and this is a little sort of preview thing that I got going on. First time that you hit this button, it may not fully load what it needs to. Every time that you hit this button, it will regenerate a background, and now we can see sort of the whole frame that I made there for it. And then if we hit this again, we can see more and more. So these are all AI generated images, and we're not generating them on the fly. These are images that are taken from a large section of images that were pre-generated. I am working on more systems and actually trying to get a hold of an API that will generate images on the fly that's decent. I found one or two like student projects that are out there that you can run yourself, but I don't really want to do that, and I would like to use Dolly or what is that, Midjourney. I actually have, this is all Midjourney art, by the way, and I have a subscription to Midjourney, and we do have it available right now for our founders. I actually do have sort of a plan, since I can't get an API, because none of those guys actually, you would think they do. I have access to Open API tech stuff for GPT-3. I have access to all that, but they don't give an API for Dolly. So because of that, I am in a position where I'm thinking about maybe perhaps making the Midjourney subscription that I have public. Right now it's only available to founders, sort of as a thank you and a little perk for them. But we'll probably open that up to everybody at some point. And I do have the ability to like do limits and credits and stuff, so we might limit that so we don't go overboard. But basically what I can do with that is collect stuff in our Discord, and then perhaps I can scrape that and put it into the database so that you can go to our Discord and generate stuff, and then you might see it pop up as a test image, or not a test image, a P&L image, right? I do have my end goal with this. What I thought would be really cool is you get to the end of a trade and you go to look at the P&L, and the first thing it does is it asks you, well, how did this trade make you feel? Right? And then you type something in, and that becomes the prompt to the AI, right? And then you get something out. This also is just one layout of many layouts that I want to do. I think this is kind of cool and creative. I also think it's a little bit hard to read. I think it's a little, 7th grader tried to make, a website type of thing. I'm not a graphic designer, right? And so this is just something I threw together in Canva, but I do want this to be readable. I do want to showcase maybe sometimes some AI art. I want to make one that doesn't have that. I'm thinking about just making the AI art in a little frame and putting it in the corner, as one of the layouts. And you'll be able to pick maybe between multiple layouts and how you want to display it, right?
What about sharing that?
You
screenshot it?
No, you just right click, save image as. Yeah, this is an image.
Okay.
And you can do that. How does that usually work? As far as, do people just copy or save the image, or do you guys
You know, they
want
just
some
sort
other?
of screenshot it,
Okay.
screenshot it and snap, crop it and save it. I mean,
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
if
So.
there was some share buttons, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was thinking like, what kind of share options does everybody expect, right? We can talk about that and go from there. But yeah, so that's enough on that. But that's just something I've been working on, and that's sort of like a pet project. I'm not really throwing that much effort into it, but it is something fun for me to do when I have a little bit of time, right? And so I'm doing all of that. Okay, community. If you guys haven't seen this yet, we overhauled the community page. In fact, let me go over to my other account so I can see the whole thing. So we do have with the group plans the ability to add yourself to a group and also buy an organization plan, right? So if we hit group plans, you can see that it's got a lock on it. And if we click on this, I actually have a subscription, so it's going to tell me I already have a subscription and I can apply to join. Okay, but I can also come into here with a different account, which might be this one maybe. Yeah. Okay, and if we come into here and click on this and hit group plans, it's going to show me the plans that they offer, right? And you can create your own plans, you can edit this text, you can add features to this, you can list your own features here, and you can edit the price. You click on this, it does the same thing that you're used to as far as subscribing, and we would be charging our fee plus your fee. Right, and so we're working on that, and then we can hit close. We can also see, how we've changed the community browser. So you can see that we have this hero image up top where we're sort of going through some of the more popular strategies, and we're actually doing this off of the most profitable leaderboard right here. So this is it right here. This is the top 20, and that's what's scrolling through here as well. So this is obviously still being worked on. There might be a couple things in here that perhaps was in here before P&L got fixed. I haven't really done an audit on any of that necessarily, but we're keeping an eye on this and trying to build a leaderboard here of some good shared strategies for everybody. If you have an organization, you can show your stuff on here. You don't have to. There's a checkbox for it. If you do show your stuff, and we are collecting P&L for it, your P&L can show up here as well, and it's sort of like an advertisement for your group to say, hey, we have some profitable strategies, but of course if you click on this, we're going to tell you our plans and get you set up there. Once again, if you do have a TradingView, a TradeLab plan already, if you have a subscription with us, we are not going to tell you to buy a new plan. Instead, we're going to tell you to apply to the group and give you their website. Okay? And then at that point, you go on their list to approve. They have to approve you. And the idea is at this point right now, you would contact them, they would contact you, and you would figure out, hey, do I need to pay you guys any extra for the strategies? And you would pay them directly, right? And so that's how we're handling it right now. I'm definitely open to suggestions, have some ideas myself, but that's what we're doing right now. So we do have direct links now, so that's kind of cool. If you click on this, any one of these, and say you have your own strategy, you can always do the see more or the monitor screen, and you guys might be familiar with this screen. Well, if you look at a strategy that's not yours and it's shared, as long as you shared it, it has a copy to my strategies button now. So that means I can grab this and send it over to Miles, and I can say, hey, copy my strategy, and he can take a look at it and hit the copy button. So no more having to go through the community browser or search or anything. You can send direct links if that's easier for you guys. Okay, so there's that. Profile pictures. So that's something that we added. And I am starting to sort of show in different places with the community. I do want to create different pages for at the very least, for the organizations, so that you can see, the organization, their about me, what strategies they have, and their overall profit and that sort of stuff. So they'll have their own little social page. I am thinking about having optional social pages where you can say, hey, I want a public profile and I want to show this about me and maybe, my recent trades, or, you get to decide, right? But I'm thinking about adding some social aspects to that as well, so that you can easily find other people and interact with people. I have always thought about doing comments and all of that sort of stuff. So having comment sections on different strategies, maybe going to that see more page that we were on just a second ago, and maybe having a comment section in here, stuff like that. So looking at doing that sort of stuff. Of course, that all comes with moderation and some other things, and so we gotta look before we leap, right? And just make sure that we're ready to provide those things in a quality manner. So yeah, we do have the ability to upload profile pictures now. So that had been missing for a long time, but now we have it. So you can go and find your favorite picture and upload, and it'll take just a brief second and then refresh with your new picture. Okay. We also have that for the organization picture. You can upload pictures there, and we're going to be adding more places to upload your different pictures. Right now, you can't upload a picture for a strategy, right? But that's coming. Just like share a strategy. If you go into my strategies, edit, and you go to share, I'm going to be adding the upload right here. So we got that. Okay. Going forward, one last thing is share alerts. So there is a share alerts here. People have checked it in the past, and it hasn't really done what it was supposed to do for a while, because I sort of disconnected it for multiple reasons. Now I've sort of put some more pop-ups around. Just based off of an interaction this morning, I feel like I might have to do some more pop-ups because somebody wasn't aware that this was going to happen. But let's take a look at this, okay? And I need to make some videos specifically on this so that people can see this. But share alerts is not copy trading. Copy trading is coming. I'm going to talk more about copy trading in another video, but share alerts is allowing somebody to copy the whole template and use it as their own, just like you normally would. Okay, just as we do today. But instead of having to go through the strategy setup and set up their own alerts, they can still do that if they want. But share alerts would make it so that whatever they copy, they're going to also copy the webhook that is connected inside of the alerts here. So any webhook that is connected to any alert in here is going to be shared, and then any alert that comes through for that webhook is going to be shared with anybody who copies your strategy. Okay, now it says in here when you do this, and it's also very important, like when you go and copy. For instance, I'm here on the David Tech. You would never do share alerts on David Tech because you pay for David Tech's alerts and you don't have the authorization to do that. And I do have queries where I can quickly check if certain things have been checked where they shouldn't be, and if we catch that, we can take action and warn and prevent people from doing that, right? But generally speaking, if you are making your own alerts and your own strategies and you want to share alerts, you can do that by checking this. Okay, and then once that's checked, then you would come into community browser, and I believe that there was something that Talon made that it says, okay, we're going to copy this. We say yes, this will copy it for ourselves. We won't receive updates. We'll have to recopy it. Oh, so I guess Talon didn't share his. I thought maybe it was this one. Resistance. Maybe he did it on one of them. No? No? Okay. Well, I'll have to take a look at that. I do know that I'm pretty sure I did it on. Which one did I do it on? This one? No, it wasn't that one. So let's just real quickly allow copy. Okay, and this is the note that says you cannot allow for follow or share alerts if it's from a source that you pay for. Okay, so that's very important. Let's keep everybody honest and good with that. Share alerts, if I do that, okay, we hit save, and now that's shared. So if we go to community browser, and I take a look at shared by the community, I should see the horizontal line. Maybe I need to refresh.
Are you looking for the key level template?
No, I'm just trying to show off real quick the, did it not say? It says it's shared. I'm just trying to show off the share alerts pop-up real quick and what that looks like. Oh, I see. Test. Okay. And so now if we go into community browser, you should see the horizontal line test. And then if we copy this setup, we would say yes to copy it. But now it's going to ask us, this strategy comes with shared alerts. If you enable this, the alerts the owner of this strategy will send for you will trigger your strategies, right? So if you say yes, you're going to get a subscription to that webhook, and anytime there's an alert for that webhook, it's going to send, and if that alert is for this strategy, then it's going to trigger it for you, okay? So it's sort of like copy trading, but you still get to edit stuff. You still get to go in and edit the rules or whatever it is that you want, and that also means that you can click no and it'll still copy it, but you won't subscribe, right? And then you can edit it and do whatever it is that you want yourself. So this share alerts allows you to edit it either way, whether you want to actually accept the share alerts or not. As long as it's shared, you can edit it as a template. So you're copying the template, and then you're just getting an option to copy the alerts. If we were to do actual copy or follow trading, it would look different. So if I do copy trades, okay, copy trading gives me a follow in here, and I still am working on this, so it may or may not work. I guess it's, oh, there it is. Okay, so the following there, I'm actually renaming that to copy trading, because I think following is just not a standard way to name it. That's what I had it named before, but this here is a copy trade. And so normally when I click on edit, of course it brings me into the builder. When I click on edit here, it just brings up this. So I can select my exchange. I can only select exchanges for whatever this exchange was selected for. I'm on a test account, so I don't have any exchanges. But if this was for like Bybit, only Bybit would show up in the drop down here. and then I'll have my amount and my leverage that I can change. I cannot change my TPSL. I cannot change my rules. I cannot change any of that, because all the trades that I make with this are going to be added with the P&L to the main community browser, to what I copied. Okay, and so that's all going to be added up in the P&L, and we'll see like the average P&L as well as the total P&L that's been created, right, from that strategy. So that is different from share alerts, because share alerts, you are copying the entire thing, you get to edit the entire thing, you get to see everything. With copy trading, you don't even see the rules. You don't see them. And that's going to protect you guys when you do, your advanced stuff with TALib and everything else. But with share alerts, you do see it, and it doesn't add the P&L together, right? So you're copying it, it's your copy, you have your own P&L, so does the original template, but if you do want to share alerts, you can do that, okay? So there's that.
By the way, so Jake, that the main advantage of that though is, like, let's just assume I got my whitelist site up and running, and I'm sending customers over here. They're selecting the strategies that I give them to jump into. They're basically copy trades. They don't have to have TradingView, because the alerts are already coming in, and they don't have to deal with any.
100%. That's exactly right.
Have to deal with setting up alerts, because they're automatically being received by TradeLab. TradeLab's running all those trades for those strategies.
That is correct.
Nice. Okay, that's Nirvana right there. Keep it.
Cool.
Right, or I want to see this thing go. Right on. Thanks, man.
Awesome. So we got a bunch of new stuff in the builder. Real quick, let's go through those. So the trade settings, we have two new options down here at the very bottom of trade settings: enforce minimum order amount and enforce minimum line amount. Okay, so enforce minimum order is when you go to enter or exit a trade. If you send something that is below the minimum, if you send 0, if you send something, we will always try to place a trade for you. Okay, so there's some times where the math doesn't work out, and you used to get a error that said that you couldn't place a trade because you were placing at 0. Well, I had some people say, I want to at least place a tiny bit, and so we're going to have this option here where you can place the minimum, amount for that coin, right? So I get the minimum amount and make that your order. Same thing with the line. So what if you made an order for 2 times the minimum amount, but you have 3 lines, and you try to take 33% on each line? They will be so small that they won't be able to take anything, and therefore your lines won't be placed. In that situation, they won't be placed at all, because it's 33. It just won't. The math won't work out. It'll all be 0. So with this on, it will place all 3 lines. Now the first 2 lines will be the 2 minimum amounts added up together, will be the whole position, and so you won't even get to hit the 3rd line. But at least we're placing lines and we saved you, right? So that's why this is here. It's actually on by default. I really went back and forth as to whether I should turn this on by default or not. I found in most cases it was the safest to turn it on, so I did that. But I am going to make a separate video talking about this, because I think people need to know this in case they need to turn it off for their own preferences. Okay. New trade options. We have if you create a condition and we're making our rules, right, and we come into here, we have some new trade options. If you go to trade, there is now the last trade options right here. So last trade profit, last trade ROI, and did the last trade win? I also added strategy total profit. So that's the same number that you see in the My Strategy screen for the total of the strategy. So not only can we see the current profit of our strategy the current profit of our trade, like if I'm doing this inside of the if I'm doing this inside of the orange rules, I of course have different trade fields. Okay, if I'm doing this inside of the blue, I have less because I don't have an open trade, right, when I'm in the blue. So these are just the things that are here all the time, such as account balance, the price, and the last trade stuff, right? If I go over to the orange, of course, we can see all of the fields for the current trade, and of course I can get like my my profit, right, of the current trade, my current ROI, and now I can also get my last trade ROI, and I can also get the total profit as well, right? So that gives you some more options for logic there. Okay, and I added some new actions. So 2 new actions. The first is random. So if we go to random number, this will generate us a random number and store it where we want to store it. So if I select a variable and I say I want my stop to be a random number, it can be between 0 and what? So I can type in, say, 5, and now it'll be between 0 and 5. And, well, hey Jake, I want it to be between 5 and 10. Okay, well that's okay. Just do 0 and 5, and then you can do add 5, right? And that was honestly the easiest way for me to do it right now. I might have a better way to do that later, but this is just what made sense to me. To get that going. So I got that. This was actually sort of like an overnight request from somebody, right? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can put that in, and I just sort of threw it in there. So if we have a lot of people finding that they hate that, let me know, and I can change it. All right. So let's come back here. We also have the swing order. So of course we've already had a swing order action. A lot of people might have seen it. However, the swing order was always made to close its own trade. So if you had 2 strategies open at the same time in a long, and they added to each other, if one of them swung, only its part would swing, and not the rest of it. And that caused issues. And so in cases where you're going to use 2, there's good reason to have either, right? If you're doing hedge mode, if you're not, there's so many different really ways to set this up. And so what I did is give you the option to either do the original order size or the whole position size. That way, if you have 2 longs open and one of them wants to swing, it will make them both swing, basically. Okay. So we got that set up there. Okay, logs. I added links to the logs. Let's just make sure we clean this up. Alright. So we got Lincoln logs now. Lincoln logs. If I go into my strategies, let it load up, we can take a look at the logs, and this is just allowing you guys to basically click around and navigate the different strategies, the different trades, and the different alerts a whole lot faster, right? So if we click on edit, you guys might know or have seen this logs down here. We can also make this bigger if we want, and we can scroll through here and look at the logs. Now, you might have tried to click in these before and saw that there was nothing in them. There might not be anything in the old ones, and there might still be some, I guess, that don't have any links, but some of these now should have links to either the trade or sometimes the trade and the alert. And so that should give you the opportunity to go through. It seems like it's like every other ones, or no, now all of these don't. These are older. These are from May, so none of those are going to have it. So the new ones will have it, and it's trying to show you the alert, or sorry, the trade in this case. So you can click on that, and it'll send you over to the trade so you can take a look at what alerts ran and that sort of stuff. Okay, so there's that. I do still have a whole lot more stuff going on for logs here soon. Honestly, my goal is to make it look more like, to have a separate page for logs and make it look more like this, specifically having this bar chart up here that shows you the different colors for the status. We do already have the different colors, and I want to basically just show that here. I do want to make it probably smaller and, you know, nicer text in a log format so that you can see more on the page. And I'm thinking about maybe doing something like this. They also have the option of making it drop down like I do. The drop down is usually what they do, but I actually prefer this overhang for what I do. So what you see here is my logs, and my logs are not, they are very complicated. So we probably won't be shipping all of those logs to you guys, because it would be so much that you would find it, you know, useless. It would be hard to. I've had to learn how to sift through all of these and find the stuff that I need, and I have cut down on a lot of logs. However, we often find that it's like, oh well, I'm looking for something and I can't find it, so I got to add that log back. You know. So it's just one of those things. I think it's much better for me to have a lot of those logs there, and that's actually not saved in the database. If all those logs were saved in our database, our costs would be higher. We're offloading those to a place, and we're actually getting that service for free right now, so that's saving us. But yeah, so as to say, I am improving the logs. If you guys get used to looking at these logs, I would highly recommend that. And as you guys get used to them, if you find that you are missing something, you want to see more information, let me know, you know, and we can take a look at that. Here's another good example. So we can see that it's running the alert. Well, what happened in the alert? I could make a log for those, but it would probably get kind of cluttered if I did that. So I thought it was a good idea to just give you the alert link right here, and you can go see what happened in that alert if you need to. Okay. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. I see a lot more information than you guys do sometimes. So, but that's how that would work. Okay. So, I did remove. I thought I did. Did it actually get pushed? Because I was looking at something earlier and I thought it didn't. No, it didn't. Okay, so I do have the intention of removing system alerts. I guess it didn't go away yet. I also have the intention of renaming the strategy in here to strategy trades. That didn't get done either somehow, but I'll get that. This should be strategy trade settings. Just like when I select this and it says strategy trade settings here. Obviously what that means is this over here, strategy trade settings. Okay, fixed a bunch of bugs, saving lines and stuff, and then we also have been working on fixing a saving bug and getting a bit better saving system. VPS is almost here, so that's exciting, and it's almost here because we've been working on a new network backend infrastructure upgrades, and then along with that we've also done a new distributed timer system. So we found that sometimes our servers would restart if I push something, and I had all of the timers being done locally. So the whatever server that you hit when you set up your timer, it was remembering to do it, you know, in 2 hours. But if that server got restarted, that was not, you know, being respected, and your timer got lost. I now have a new system that saves that, and it's distributed with the rest of the jobs over the rest of the network. So not only does it remember, but it should be scalable and fast to make sure that we always get those out for you. Okay, on time. So that's it. That's going to be the list of updates for this week. Appreciate everybody watching. So let's go over any questions that anybody has.
Yeah, I've got one quickly, Jake. Sorry, man. First, I want to say well done. You've been very busy. It's incredible at the pace you're moving, my friend. My question is, you showed me trades on the underneath on our main menu selection, underneath community brokers. If I push on trades now, on the top bar, I've got a selection of active trades, open positions, and trade history. If I go to open positions, because I was going obviously checking this as you've been talking, I have currently an open position, which I don't actually have, because it's just to give you more information. It is set up to, it's a correct everything, the correct strategy, correct coin, but I don't trade Saturdays and Sundays. On my main screen, I don't have any running strategies at the moment. No bots are open and active, but it is giving me an open position now. $17 in profit on a short that is happening on the TradingView chart, on my coin, on my pair, on my strategy, but it's not actually happening because I don't trade on weekends. So it's clearly coming through from the strategy that I'm supposed to be in that trade, and I'm not. It might be a glitch. You might want to look at nothing.
Is that when you say you're seeing open positions? Is that on the My Strategy screen or on the trade screen?
Trade.
Okay.
Trade.
So the open positions on the trade screen. We'll take a look at that here. So when you come to the trade screen and you go to open positions, so this is a list, and it takes a little bit longer to load because we're going out to every exchange that you have and getting a list of the positions directly from the exchange. So if you look at my active trades, I don't have any active trades. I don't have anything running with the bot, but I have a whole bunch of trades that are running on test exchanges all throughout that I've either left open or forgot about or whatever, and I do have, in fact, all of these positions open on the exchange. So these positions are showing all of your positions, whether or not the bot has opened them. And now, if you want to know only the positions that the bot has opened, you should be able to go to active trades, and this would reflect that, right?
That's what I want to. Yeah, thank you. That's it, my friend. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I get it.
Interesting, because I've had open positions. I got 6 open positions on my trade screen, and I've looked in my test exchanges, and there's no open positions. I wish there were, because these are wildly profitable. But I've got 6 that I don't know where the hell they're coming from.
So, are you trading spot at all, JP?
No, it's
Okay.
all.
I didn't think you were. Okay. And I know that we've looked at that before. I'll have to look at it again, but I remember looking at it with you and looking at the code and being like, well, no, this pulls directly from the exchange. Maybe I'm wrong. I do know that with spot that there is no positions. If you can imagine, when you do spot trades on your exchange, there is no positions. You just do an order and it happens, and then you have, the coin in your wallet. But for TradeLab, I do create positions, and we do track them just as the same as derivative trading almost. So that being the case, we do show open positions on this tab for spot, and that would be our own positions. And perhaps those aren't getting updated or closed or something, and that's something that I could take a look at. If it is coming from the exchange, which I think it is, but maybe I'm wrong, then at that point it would be like, well, why are they sending us that information? You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'll take a look at that. I'll double check that. That's a good question.
Cool, thanks. Yes, so I just wanted to say, Jake, I'm impressed by all the latest modifications. The what was it called? Arrays. Did you happen to look into the array functionality?
I have not really dug into it. I know what it takes. I've done enough of the thinking to start designing it and to be like, okay, this is how I'm going to start approaching it, but I haven't actually started that approach yet. My intention was to do that over my vacation. I ended up having a bunch of like house repair stuff go on that ate up a bunch of my time, and then I also was trying to do copy trading at the same time, and copy trading proved to be a
It's
little
all
bit.
good. I'm not coming down on you.
Yeah, no, but I'm just explaining. Copy trading did prove to be a little bit more cumbersome, and so I'm actually still working on copy trading. But we do have that new share alerts feature that you guys can use immediately, so that should be exciting. But copy trading, I'm hoping, should be out in the next week or two. There's just, I got it, I already had it working, as you know, JP, like I had the follow, but nobody was using it. But I added that so far long ago, and since nobody was using it, I hadn't touched it in so long. And it was made before the TPSL stuff was made. Right, and so that meant that the follow stuff didn't really take care of the TPSL stuff at all, the copy trading stuff. And so there's just some, you know, I when I did the copy trading stuff over my vacation, I set it up and threw it in there, and I knew that, and so I threw together, you know, what I thought would work for TPSL and just sort of made it happen. But then when I started thinking about it, there's quite a few edge cases where what if somebody, you know, you have 200, 300 people trying the trade and they all place TP lines, but 175 of those, their TP lines got filled, but some of them didn't. And now we're moving, you know, we're going forward and everything. What do you do? You know what I mean? And how do you make sure that they're tracked separately? And but once again, remember that they don't have strategies themselves. There's only one strategy running, one set of rules running when the copy trading is real. Because they don't have rules. If we gave them your rules, somebody could hack around and actually look at them. There's no way at any point where we send the rules to the front end unless you own it, right? Or you've copied it correctly, right? If it's a copy trade, they don't get to see it, and so they're not running their own set of rules because of that. And there's just edge cases that I had to take into account that I didn't think of. So that is still being worked on, but I did want to, I know that wasn't your question, JP, but I did want to say that whole spiel because I did actually plan on having this done sooner, but, you know, ran into some issues, and so working through
hey, you don't need to ask for forgiveness for us. We know you're busy as hell. You're doing a great job, man.
Cool. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So how is everybody else doing?
Well, I'm not sleeping 9 hours, if that's what you want to know.
Wide awake now.
Well, we're good. Family's good, kids are good, we're all blessed with health. Not much more we could ask for, just will follow. And, but no complaints, man. South Africa's busy getting load shed 3-4 times a day, where they take away our electricity for 2 to 3 hours every single day. Got a crisis going on power-wise.
Wow.
It's messing up with our Wi-Fi, our internet, let me say, especially cross borders. So that's a bit of a challenge at the moment.
Wow.
But I'm relocating to Italy February, March next year. So I just got to get through this phase while this place crumbles at one hell of a rate. Otherwise, all good.
Yeah.
Got food in the shop.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder, like, I guess you could get something that's battery powered, like a laptop. You could charge it and run it when the power's out, but then you wouldn't have internet. But I guess you could get Starlink for, you know, satellite internet and do it that way. For the 2-3 hours that you're out.
I'm running 4 separate inverters around my house to keep my fridges and freezers and all the stuff that can't just switch off.
Yeah.
We live in Africa. It gets 40 degrees here. You got no air cons. Everything starts to overheat. Ventilation is a problem, and then of course laptops need to be charged, cell phones need to be charged, and the biggest problem is the sparking. When power comes back on, you get that initial spark.
Oh.
It's happening 5 times a day. You start to lose expensive equipment.
Oh,
very, very
shit.
quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we used to deal with that, and there used to be a whole like concern about unplug your computer if the power goes out, you know, because when it comes back on, it might surge and all that. But I feel like that isn't talked about as much anymore. Like maybe we have systems that's preventing that, or like all of our power surge stuff that we use just makes it a non-issue. I don't know, but yeah, that's crazy.
I think it's more affecting more your refrigeration and your freezers and your geysers and those type of things.
Yeah. I had to look up 40 degrees Celsius to figure out what it was in Fahrenheit.
It's hot. It's pretty hot.
Yeah, it's about as what we get in Texas, 104. That's about
Yeah.
what we get in Texas.
I hope you don't get our humidity of 96, 98%.
We get close. Houston gets that. Houston gets it. Dallas summer humidity is like, I'd say like 60 or 70. Yeah, it's 60% daily, and then morning is 80. But of course, morning's always, you know, more moist. So about 60% humidity in the summer in July for us. But yeah, in Houston and Brownsville, it's higher. What about Houston? Let me see the Houston. Houston's only 74. I always thought it was higher than that. Port Arthur's 81. So you guys have like a really high humidity. That's crazy.
I'm not looking forward to the summer that's on its way. Our December to February is going to be absolutely insane without any ventilation, air conditioning. I can tell you that now.
Yeah.
And I just hope that the power crisis doesn't get any worse. Because even the inverters, you know, they're not small like the serious inverters, but they only run for a good 4 hours or so. Sometimes we get no power for 2 days. Bang, no power.
Yeah.
Done. You lose everything in your freezer. It's not a comfortable situation at the moment. So I'm busy relocating, and yeah, I'm gonna come and join the first world where there's electricity and internet. Must be nice.
All right.
Yeah, but you're going to Italy, and they might be shutting off the gas from Russia, right? Aren't you going to deal with the cold and the winter over there?
You know what? I'll deal with the cold. I'll deal with the cold as long as I've got Wi-Fi, as long as I've got internet. I'll go live in the Arctic. I lived in Canada. I was in New Brunswick, minus 40, minus 45 degrees. I lived there. Yeah, I know. It's cold. Okay, I did have heating, but most of it was fireplace as well. No, we can get around. I don't mind going back to the dark ages, but you can't take away internet. I mean,
Well,
you can't do anything. You can't check your exchange. You can't do anything without internet.
The beauty of TradeLab is, though, if you get your strategies profitable and you can trust them to do what they need to do when you can't connect, they just keep running on the server, man.
This is what I love. I love that.
That's the goal.
I love that. I love that. Already it is pretty much like that. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. TradeLab is my best place in the world, people, and I've traveled a lot.
All right, well, I'm going to be signing off. Man, Jake, thanks for the update. Everything looks great. You're doing a fine job, and I'll have that webpage up soon, and we'll do that aliasing and all that stuff for Flash Trade.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, buddy. All right, you guys. Bye, everybody. Take it easy.
Cheers, JP. Have a good weekend.
You too.
I'm
Bye-bye.
also going to sign up for half an hour and go and eat something. Jake, thanks so much for everything, brother. Look after yourself.
All right, you too. Take it easy, guys.
Have
Have a good one.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Alright, and that's going to wrap up this week's updates. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and leave us a like, subscribe for more updates, and we'll see you next time.